Today, what is happening in Benue, I want the world to hear that we have been massacred in our humble abode by the marauders, by the bandits, by the terrorist Fulani herdsmen.
Yes.
In the hierarchy of human needs, the life of humans is being prioritized. To this end, the government owns the responsibility of protecting life and properties of her citizens. Any responsible government in anywhere has the statutory obligation to protect life and properties of the citizens. That is the primary responsibility of any responsible government. Sadly, this is largely not the case as far as Nigeria today is concerned, as the Benue people troop out to protest against the incessant and reckless killings of the indigenous people in their various communities or abodes. That is quite very alarming. Even though with the presence of military facilities within Benue State, people have still been massacred helplessly. It's quite very disturbing and unfortunate. The Benue has trooped to the streets to protest against these incessant killings and barbaric attacks, including children are being victimized and killed. That is quite unfortunate, very horrible. Over 200 people were killed and more yet missing. It's quite unfortunate. And the Benue people has passed votes of no confidence in the administration of Tinubu government and has called on Tinubu to tender resignation or give them the liberty to protect themselves. These are the same government you claim has failed by the recent antecedents, and you still expect them to give you the liberty to protect yourself, knowing that inalienable right of humans is self-defense, and self-defense is an inalienable right of any human or society in the face of threat. It's quite unfortunate. Let's listen to this gentleman from Benue State, and of course their counterpart from the front Biafran territory, who said no, we are not going to take any nonsense from people coming to kill us. We have people to defend us, who say man no day. Of course, that is the language the Fulani, the terrorists, understands. Let's compare those two people. On the other part, one is crying, lamenting, wailing endlessly, waking up the next day to see more devastating attacks, communities being overrun. But one said, we are not going to take this nonsense. We must confront this monster head on and make sure that our inalienable right to life and preservation of our cultural heritage and territory must be upheld with all sanctity and dignity. Let's watch.
Citizen of this state. Yes, my name is Michael Tule. I am not just outside here as an ordinary citizen of this state. I am a volunteer with International Human Rights Commissions. Today, what is happening in Benue, I want the world to hear that we have been massacred in our humble abode by the marauders, by the bandits, by the terrorist Fulani herdsmen.
Yes.
Today we decide we will speak for ourselves, in as much as the government is not been able to speak for us.
Yes.
Still the government is trying to kill us.
Oh my goodness.
This moment they have thrown tear gas against us. They have shoot all kind of rampant bullets on us,
yes,
trying to displace us.
Yes.
So I speak to the world that today we are out here not just for the preservation of ourselves, but we are out here to speak for our fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters.
Yes.
Knowing fully well that they are the ones, they are speechless. Our voices will speak for them.
Yes.
If we don't speak, nobody is ready to speak for us.
Nobody.
Today, I am saying due to the action the police, the army, the civil defense has taken about this protest, that this government has failed us.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I am saying this without fear or favor. Yes. This government has failed us. Yes.
The government has compromised.
So, if the government has compromised, two things are involved.
Yes.
It's either they step down or they give us the liberty to fight for ourselves.
No Biafra, no peace. No Biafra, no peace. Who's the man of No Biafra, no peace. Who's the man of No Biafra, no peace. No Biafra, no peace. Who's the man of
Two things are involved. It's either they step down or they give us the liberty to fight for ourselves. Imagine 200 people killed one night. Even if they are rats, killed up to 200. If you see them,
Why are you people running now?
even if it is 200 rats that are killed and coupled up in the place, you will see it and you will be marveled.
The use of force
If this is happening to us, why are we living? The primary assignment of a government, of a governor, is to protect the lives and properties of his people. You have done enough development. We are done with development, sir. You were supposed to protect us first.
That was your promise. That was what you promised us.
That is the primary assignment.
We voted you.
The use of force against innocent protesters, harmless protesters who are protesting against the killings of their innocent brothers and sisters, mothers, including children that were rounded up and burnt alive. The use of force against these innocent protesters by the security operatives is quite condemnable. It's quite barbaric and dastard. How could you be fighting those seeking to address the injustice, the killings, the assaults, the annihilation, the ethnic cleansing going on, who are calling the attention of the government and its instrument of state to address the nagging issues that have become national calamity, of national interest? People who saw their dead ones littered in their pool of blood, lifeless, who saw children burnt alive. Isn't that enough to stage a protest? So why should the government or the instrument of the state deploy the use of force to silence the people who are calling for the attention of the government on their negligence? If they have protected the people, if they have been proactive, if they have done due diligence, such wouldn't have been in the first instance. There wouldn't have been need for protests. There wouldn't have been need for people to troop to the streets because of the failure of the government to live up to her responsibilities, which is the primary essence of government, to protect life and properties. How could you watch, even though you're a security person, you have the guns and bullets, you couldn't use it against the dastard elements, the terrorists who came to invade your territorial integrity under your control, which you swear an oath of allegiance to protect the territorial integrity of this Nigerian government or state, but have been compromised under your watch. Now people, locals, communities who have seen their loved ones, the entire community deserted, wiped off, protesting to address these incessant killings, and you are deploying the use of force against them. Where does that happen? Rather than admitting your error and inability to protect the people and re-strategize on how best. You can imagine an ordinary Boko Haram has the best strategy to even deceive the security operatives. While they are attacking at the front, they were able to circumvent the security operatives and went and murdered more than 200 people. The total death is over 220, still counting. And still, the fortunate thing that children are not spared. Children are not spared. In the art of war, children are given the right to live. even in a full conventional war. So this is nothing short of ethnic cleansing, annihilation of the indigenous people of Benue State. Because in a full-blown war, it is a war crime to attack children below 18 years. Children are not meant to be victims of war, of hostilities. But that is not the case in Nigeria. Even children, as little as 2 years, are being massacred, being burnt alive, being killed under the watch of Ahmed Bola Tinubu, and is sitting comfortably, thinking that all is well with him. It doesn't matter what is happening to others. Where are the marching orders of the president? Or it doesn't apply to Benue people? Where are the marching orders of the president to go after the perpetrators of this heinous crime? More importantly, that had such heartless states to attack children, to rally them up and burn them alive. And you went and attacked people who are protesting, expressing their grievances and pain. If you are the one that is affected, won't you have the feelings? What is that humanity in us? Why should the security operatives, instead of going to the forest, going after those nefarious elements, you come back to unleash mayhem, to attack, use of force to silence the people, to disperse the people, rather than addressing the nagging issues that prompted, of course, them trooping to the street to demonstrate. And you have the evidence. You have observed that what they are saying are not just fabrications. These are human life involved. These are human beings involved. These are families who, without any justifications, being in their own abode, in their communities, they are being embedded, rounded up, and killed. Yet the government, the security operatives, has the guts to attack these people, to disperse them with the use of coercion, without addressing the concerns they have raised in their protests, in their communique. What kind of government is this? What kind of security operative is this? Does it mean that people affected are not human beings? You don't have empathy for those who have lost their life, for the innocent children who are massacred mercilessly? This is unacceptable. What kind of a country, what kind of a society do we find ourselves? Where are the area surveillance? Where are the president? Where are the governors? Where are the army chiefs? The local government in Benue State also accused the command in Benue, where you have military facilities sited not quite far from where the people were massacred. And you're saying you don't have the mandate. Now you have the mandate to dispense with the use of force the protesters who are protesting over the killings of their loved ones, their families. It's high time we start addressing this injustice. It's high time the government live up to her responsibilities. As the Benue people has called, tender resignation, meaning that you are useless being there. Because if the people's life cannot be protected or preserved under your watch, then what is the essence? You take an oath of allegiance to protect the life of the people, of the citizens. And under your watch, over 200, if not more, of course, are being killed, and you are silent. The nation is not mourning. There is no emergency declared. There's no, in fact, that should have come for 7 days mourning, national mourning, where people are burnt alive, including children, innocent children. Their voice being raised, crying against the Nigerian state, crying against the killers, those who invaded their community. They killed, slaughtered their mommy, their fathers, and could not even spare the innocent children. What kind of hatred, what kind of bitterness, what kind of heart do these people have? And yet, the instrument of the state, the security operatives who has failed woefully in protecting their lives, we turn back to attack or use force to disperse the innocent protesters who have justification by all standards and sense of responsibility to have demonstrated their grievances. Do you want them to start clapping for the governor or the president for the killings of these innocent, defenseless citizens? You want them to be pumping tapens and singing on your mandate we shall stand? What kind of horrifying and deadly destructive mandate is that? The government must live up to her responsibilities to the people. It is not time to give excuse. Otherwise, you resign. Let people who are capable, who know what it takes to protect life and properties, to prioritize the welfare, the life of the people. And the service chiefs have told us that these people killing are not Nigerians. They're aliens. How do they invade Nigeria and still are within the Nigerian state attacking the locals, the indigenous people? If you don't spare the life of the children, what are you coming? Total ethnic cleansing. That is nothing but just the maxim. It's quite unfortunate. Well, let me have your reactions over the forceful disperse of the protesters and the continued killings of the indigenous people. You told us that the people killing are not Nigerians. And under your watch as service chief, you have not done anything. How did they manage to get into the country? Where are they staying? Who is harboring them? You have not found out. Where is the intelligence gathering and the rest of them? What are their modus operandi? How do they eventually attack and retire to their safe havens? Still within the Nigerian state, within the Nigerian defined territory. They have their base established. And you are telling us they are not foreigners. No, aliens came into Nigeria and began to kill the indigenous people. You said you are a savage and you are indifferent about that. You have not done anything to filter them, smoke them out. It's quite unfortunate. It means you are complicit. You should be held responsible because it's a failure of your position that led to the death of these innocent ones who never deserved such. Their blood will continue to cry as far as heaven remains against the Nigerian state and those who are conspirators to the killings, who failed to do due diligence on their part, as, of course, saddled with such responsibilities, will be held responsible, not just on earth, but will stand before God to eventually receive their reward. Let's have your own take regarding this via the comment section. Thanks for watching.